Today we are going to paint a mason jar wood cutout with a galaxy and fireflies. Here are the brushes you will need. First, a round bristle brush. This particular one is a number 6 Art Advantage. Second, a standard filbert brush. Third is a Crayola brush. This one comes in a set and I'll link it down below. Next is my favorite, it's a 1/2 inch angle brush. Fifth is a standard number 6 round brush. And finally, you will need a liner brush. In addition to black and white acrylic paint, I used the following colors. Yes, they all look similar, but trust me, they are different tones. All of these and all other materials will be linked in the description below. Let's start with a blank mason jar cutout. Grab some of that purple on an angle brush. I like to use X strokes to really spread the paint evenly. Make sure to get those edges really good and start at the top and work it down and around the edges halfway down the jar. Now, without washing the brush, grab your darkest blue. Brush that into the middle of the purple, blending it into the purple for a seamless transition. Grab the next darkest blue and work that in towards the middle. Finally, grab the third darkest blue and work that into the middle, blending it into the blues and purples. Once you're done with this, the top half of your mason jar should have 4 colors, purple and your 3 darkest blues. Again, without washing your brush, grab some white and start working it in the center at the bottom of the painted section. Grab your third darkest blue and work that into the white. And I noticed that there were some not so well blended areas in the top, so I quickly went back with an additional purple at the top to touch up my shadows, blending it well into the blue. Creating a night sky is about blending your background well so that your stars and clouds stand out in the foreground. Grab your darkest blue again and start working it around the edges of the bottom and up into the white and blue mixture. Work white and blue back and forth until you've lightened up your bottom to your satisfaction, blending it evenly. This part is about layering your whites and your blues. If done correctly, the bottom of your jar should start to glow. Finally, make some nice long strokes across the entire jar, working from the bottom to the top to smooth out your blended transitions. Next, take your filbert brush and put on some white at the tip of the brush. Start to work that into the middle of the jar in the wet blue paint. Switch to your bristle brush to dab around the hard edges. Layer some more white on the filbert and dab away with the bristle. I then switched back to the angle brush to X stroke the final white into place. At this point, it's about layering in the white and blending it to your desired effect. As you can see, I continue to move back and forth between white and blue, blending it and layering it, and then blending it some more. Next, we are going to mix our star paint. Grab your bristle brush that has not been washed and pick up some white. Put it in the middle of your palette and add 1 drop of water. Mix the white and blue together and add additional water until the consistency slowly drips. Now for the fun part. Grab that Crayola brush with your left hand and hold it parallel to your jar. Use the bristle brush and gently tap it at first against the Crayola brush. Once you get the hang of it, you can tap at more rapid rate to get the stars that you want. Group most of your stars in the white clouds that you created in the middle of your mason jar. Next, grab some more white and mix it in along with a drop of water into your star mixture. Once the consistency is right, you can go ahead and start tapping away. Again, make sure to group your stars in your clouded area. That way it looks like a galaxy. One more time, add a little bit more white into your star mixture. Make sure that consistency is right and do some final taps on those stars. In this painting, I wanted it to glow. So with a Crayola brush, brush this glow-in-the-dark paint in at the bottom. It should now be dry enough to add. However, if it is not dry to the touch, you will need to wait an additional 5 minutes so that your glow-in-the-dark paint does not blend in. Add some more stars on top of that, and you should be back in business. Next, we're going to focus on the mason jar lid. So we're going to add a few lines at the top. We're not going to go over the top with this, but we're just going to add a few lines with some highlights to give the mason jar a lid. Next, I came in with a little bit of gray, and I'm going to fill in that top part of the lid. Now be careful here because your paint is probably still wet and will pick up the blue from underneath. So just be very gentle and be very easy with that paint. Come back in with some gray, come in with some white, and at the very end we're going to add some highlights to make this lid pop. At the end, I'm adding a shadow so that the lid looks a little more 3D. Just adding a tiny bit of black and blending that in with the gray that's already on the lid top. I went back in with a little bit more white to highlight, and I should be done. Next, we're going to add some glares on the actual glass part itself. These are just some white lines that will show that this is actually a mason jar that could be potentially filled with a galaxy and fireflies. One of the easiest parts about this painting is the grass. So grab your angle brush, load up on the chiseled edge with some black, and make some quick light strokes downward to create your grass. Add some curves, overlap them. You're creating a beautiful silhouette of grass. Towards the end, you should overlap them so much that the bottom of your jar is completely black. Change up the angle of your brush and your brush itself. Grab the liner brush and pull towards the top to give extra long blades of grass. Have fun and enjoy this part. Finally, we're going to do our fireflies. Grab your small round brush and load up with some black. Add about 5 or 6 oblong dots on your night sky where you want your fireflies to be hanging out. Switch to your liner brush and draw some white outline wings. Don't worry about what they look like as long as you're having fun. Next, take your round brush and dip it liberally into your glow-in-the-dark paint. Dab a nice large dot of the paint onto the butts of these fireflies to give them their glow. Reload each time for really good coverage. Add some smaller dots with the glow-in-the-dark paint to put some fireflies in the background. You let this dry, and then you are all done. If you liked this video and want to see more, hit that red subscribe button at the bottom right of this video, and check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all linked in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.